Come and learn how to make professional panettone and chocotone dough that crumbles, and in such a simple way that you never imagined you could make it at home to sell or for the family in such a practical way. The first thing we're going to start with is our sponge. Here, I put 150 grams of unleavened wheat flour, 6 grams of dry biological yeast, that yeast for bread, and now we mix these two together very well, very quickly. We've mixed it, and now we're going to add our water. It's 110 milliliters of very lukewarm water, not hot. If you use hot water here, you'll kill your yeast. So look, we're going to stir this in very well until all these little lumps of wheat flour are dissolved. Look how ready it is. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to cover this with plastic wrap, put it over here, tightly sealed, and we'll let it rest for about 15 minutes, and I'll show you what's going to happen inside. Look how big it's gotten. Look how much volume it's taken on. And this, folks, is essential for you to be sure that your yeast is good and that your recipe will work. Now I'm going to leave it here in the corner and we'll continue with the dough. Now here in our mixer, we're going to add the unleavened wheat flour. Here I'm using 350 grams of flour, the powdered milk, 15 grams of powdered milk. I'll also add my sugar. Here I have 120 grams of sugar, the egg yolks. I'm going to make a little hole in the middle so that we can add the egg yolks. Here I have 50 grams of egg yolks. I've put them through a sieve to remove the film, but that's up to you. I'm going to add my Panettone essence. I'll add about a tablespoon here. And the butter or margarine too, 120 grams. Look how simple it all is. And on top, we're going to add this sponge that we've just made. This sponge, prepared in this way, will make your panettone even more moist, wetter, and it will grow wonderfully afterwards. And now we're gonna beat it. I'm gonna beat it. But hey, we're not gonna use that normal whisk. This is a heavy-duty whisk. If you don't have one, if your mixer doesn't have one, you can make this dough by hand, no problem. But it will be more difficult to get it just right. I'm going to beat it here for about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes later, look how this dough looks here. Look, I'll take it out to show you. Look, see, it no longer sticks to your hand. It even sticks a little. Look, I'll show you a bit closer. Look, it's a bit soft, look. But when you take it in your hand like this, look, it does that little veil thing we call it, see? Look, it's transparent and it doesn't hurt to tear it. That's the perfect point for our dough. If by any chance your wheat flour is too dry, you can even add a little, about 30 to 40 milliliters of water until you reach this point. Here, look, I've already greased my dish with a little oil to prevent my dough from sticking. And now, look, I'm going to get my pasta. Look how pretty it looks. And I'm going to put it here. See what I mean? It's a bit sticky, and that's how it is. The important thing is that it's well kneaded, very smooth, and at the point I've already shown you. Now I'll cover it with a cloth and let it rise for about an hour. Once it's well risen, here it's been more than an hour. It's cold here where I live, but look at this. Look at the quality of this dough. It's beautiful. Now I'm going to open it here on the worktop to show you. On my worktop, I'm going to put a drizzle of oil to make it easier for my dough not to stick everywhere. Oh, now we'll come over here with this dough and put it on our worktop. Look at this beautiful dough. Ready. Now look, with your hand, we open up this dough. It's very easy. You can see that it's very, very, very soft. And now we're going to add a pinch of salt. I didn't add the salt before because salt influences the growth of this dough. That's why I'm only going to add this salt now. I'm going to divide my dough in half because I want half of it to be Chocotone and the other half Panettone. In the first half, I'm going to put my candied fruit. Here I have 150 grams of fruit. And in the other half, I'm going to add the chocolate. That's 150 grams of chocolate. Important tip, if you're going to use raisins with your fruit, don't forget, put the raisins in to hydrate beforehand so that the dried raisins don't take all the hydration out of the dough. This way, we can make sure that the fruit is well spread out. I'm going to do the same process here with my chocolate dough. Look, very easy, very simple to do, no secrets at all. I'm going to use my 250 gram mold here. So I'm going to divide this dough here into 4. I'm going to divide it into 4 and I'm going to use each portion in a mold that I'm going to show you. Let's do this with our dough. Make it very round. Push it down like this to make it look nice. Look at the difference between the two. I'm doing the same thing here. That's it. I'm going to do the chocolate one and I'll show you the molds. Look at these molds, how pretty they are. And these are 250 gram molds. If you want to make them in a larger 500 gram mold, you can do that too. There's no problem. But it will only yield 2 pieces. I'm going to fit all of our 2 doughs in here. Make sure it's just right. Make it nice and pretty because this is going to be the top of our Panettone. And I'll show you all of them now. They're already here, and now we're going to cover it again with a cloth to let it rest and rise again for another 40 minutes to an hour. Ready? Look how beautiful they already look. And now to make it easier, I'm going to transfer them to a baking sheet, and now I'm going to do a little trick to make these Panettone even more moist while they bake. Come with a small knife, and here, look, I'm going to make a little hole in the middle of this dough. I literally want to open up a little piece of it. Here, look, I'm going to do that here with all of them. And now where we open it up, we're going to put a little bit of butter or margarine. That's it. What are we putting this for, people? It's so that this panettone, this chocotone, stays even more moist and wet while it bakes. And now we're going to bake them in our oven at 180 degrees until they're golden brown. I've just taken it out of the oven, and I want you to pay attention to something. This is the first time I've made this recipe, and look, it keeps growing in the oven. So don't let it rise as much as I did to the edge. When it's more or less halfway up your baking sheet, put it into bake. Don't let it get too big. If you don't, it'll look like this, but I'll show you how it looks inside. Look, I've just cut it, and take a look at the result, people. Look at this. Look, you know that panettone that crumbles and is simply wonderful? Look at this. Look at the result of this dough here. Just wonderful, isn't it? Make it and tell me you'll love it.